From the legendary Hollywood Riviera, high above the beautiful South Bay of Los Angeles, California, welcome to Creative Genius. I'm Joe Galliani, known around the world as Mr. Joe. Joe takes on the news, and Joe Stradamus, the man who knows. I am the creator of Mattel's Street Sharks, half man, half shark. They're jawsome and fantastic. And I am the godfather of the largest renewable energy provider in the United States of America. I've been the creative genius since 2007, and now here's my latest on Substack. Who needs the children of Cali when we have Donald Trump and his pal Putin? Recovering from radiation is more fun when I get to watch the price of oil and gas skyrocket and countries switching to solar, wind, and batteries. In my favorite sci-fi book about climate change, Kim Stanley Robinson's The Ministry for the Future, the children of Cali, radicalized by a mass death event caused by a heat wave during a power outage in India, become an eco-terrorist group and start shooting private jets out of the sky and sinking massive container ships to disrupt reliance on fossil fuels. The book, published in 2020, told of how the children of Cali used drone swarms and missiles to take out whole fleets of fossil fuel-powered Learjets and cargo ships. The super rich found it too dangerous to fly. Goods stopped flowing across the ocean. Fear and terror became the motivator for real climate action. Today, here in the nonfiction world, we don't need to rely on make-believe radicalized eco-terrorists to start obliterating our petroleum era. Not when we've got unprovoked scorched earth wars started by Putin and Trump, whose bombing and missile attacks have provoked their enemies to retaliate against Russian and Middle Eastern oil targets with the same kind of drone attacks used in Robinson's book. Not when one commercial airliner, Spirit, was knocked out of the sky overnight after getting hit by Iran war-priced jet fuel. Not when oil refineries are being blown up and set ablaze in Russia, in the Ukraine, in Iran, the UAE, and Saudi Arabia, causing toxic black rain to pour down and cover entire towns and their water and food supplies. Not when the Strait of Hormuz is double blockaded and sends the price of oil, fertilizers, and other essential commodities like aluminum and helium through the fucking roof. If it were up to me, several oil tanker ships in that strait would be sunk to make that waterway unnavigable and end its use as an oil highway. Yeah, I know, that would be an ecological disaster. Well, guess what? That ship has already sailed. Let's get real here. I'm sorry for the loss of life and destruction abounding, but I'm still getting a big perverse thrill watching the price of oil and gas go up, up, up every fucking day and watching the smart money move out of fossil fuels and into renewable energy generation. That's what they call demand destruction, as in destroying the demand for oil. Never mind fuck cancer. Cancer has cures. Cancer has survivors. I'm yelling, fuck oil, because that's the real cancer threatening our life expectancy. And we have the cure, but it's being held hostage in America. As I progressively recover from the side effects of my radiation treatments, I can't help but wonder if the United States will ever recover from the monstrously corrupt oligarchy that spends billions every year brainwashing Americans to continue using oil and gas no matter what the price, making Americans willing suckers ready to bend over no matter what the cost. That price includes super-fast warming of the planet due to the toxic waste filling our atmosphere from burning fossil fuels. The acceleration of all climate crisis impacts is now an accepted fact among scientists, but it's going to take millions of people dying from heat waves and choking pollution before most people will be moved to do anything, because they get their information from a cesspool. And it's become obvious that the USA will be the last place to switch to clean, far less expensive power, clean power that no wars will ever be fought over, which is exactly why the Epstein class hates clean power and why they hate what's happening in Asia. Bloomberg News spoke to more than 24 executives, traders, and analysts across Asia who painted a picture of a region that had been thought of as the future of LNG, liquid natural gas, but it's now rapidly losing faith in the super-chilled fuel. Most requested anonymity because they weren't authorized to speak to the media. Importers in India and Bangladesh are already rethinking whether to keep the fuel as a centerpiece in future strategies. Countries like Vietnam and the Philippines that were expected to become large growth markets are looking at alternatives. A planned gas power project in Vietnam is looking to switch to wind and solar plus batteries. In Thailand, policymakers are pushing for more renewables. Bill McKibben, who's been writing and warning about global warming since his 1980 book, The End of Nature, writing now on his Substack, The Crucial Years, calls it like it is. Quote, "This is an appropriate reaction. Cheap renewable energy had already begun to fuel the remarkable energy transition I've been chronicling over the last 4 years in these pages. Now it's been supercharged by events, and responsible leaders around the world are drawing the obvious conclusions. As Selwyn Hart, the UN's envoy to the Santa Marta talks, put it in his address to the gathering, quote, renewables offer something fossil fuels never did, stability and sovereignty. There are no embargoes, price shocks, or tariffs, unquote. Solar batteries and wind power are kicking oil's ass every fucking place they're used around the planet. The price of all three have dropped like a rock in the last decade. They're all cheaper than coal, oil, gas, or any other fossil fuel, and the rest of the world is switching rapidly. Here's what the great Paul Krugman reported earlier yesterday on his Substack. Quote, the global energy transition, the shift from fossil fuels to electrotech, which uses solar, wind, and batteries to power an electrified economy, is accelerating. It's now clear that the closure of the Strait of Hormuz marks an inflection point. The global green energy curve, which is already on a rapidly rising trajectory, has suddenly become even steeper. Investors, reports the Financial Times, are piling into clean energy funds, unquote. Here in the age of stupid, with the price of pre-owned electric cars in the $10,000 to $15,000 range, even friends of mine who have watched me drive electric cars since 2013 aren't yet motivated enough to do anything. I wonder how much filling up their car's gas tank and paying the gas company to heat their water and home will have to cost before they wise up and make the switch. I'm guessing many of them think the prices will be going back to the lower price they're happier to pay. They are not seeing what I see. They're not even looking.